Welcome back to the Marketing Madmen. Trip Job and Nick Constantino here with Dr. Shah from Georgia State University and the Marketing Roundtable. So we've been talking a lot about social media and kind of the second segment. So here, let's talk about the future. And I think let's start it with, I think what's maybe most
Children
important.
Children are the future.
Yes. No, our current students. And, think about how things are changing for them, and what do you see, going over the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah. So one thing that is definitely, like all of us are witnessing right now, is that the pace of change is accelerating. Mm-hmm. Okay, and it is happening at a much, much faster rate than ever before. And obviously, there are many factors that's contributing to that. So we tell our students that make sure that your learning does not stop the day you walk out of the classroom, because by the time you are 1 year, 2 years out, a lot of things that you've learned is slowly going to start getting obsolete. Right. So the ability to learn and unlearn is one of the most important skill set that we try to inculcate in our students when they are in the program.
Talk about the unlearn, because learn, I think, is something that everybody knows. Talk about, it's the first time I've ever heard a professor say unlearn something, but I think I know where you're going. So talk about that a little bit. Yeah,
so I teach a lot of graduate students and exec MBAs, at Georgia State, and a lot of our MBA students are working professionals, 5 year, 10 years out. So they have created fixed ideas of how things operate. Same thing with our executive MBAs. And the more senior they are, the more certain they are and more rigid they are, because they had
a win 8 years ago.
Exactly. They had a very successful long run of doing things in a particular way. And so there's always an inherent resistance to change. So there's a lot of unlearning that needs to be done first, before they can really absorb and be open to trying and experimenting the new things.
How about, you talked earlier about a 360-degree view. How is that from the different disciplines within marketing? Are you sensing there's more desire to have that than just the specialist?
So there is always a temptation, right, for students to be a specialist, because, the end objective for most, especially undergrads, is get the job, right? College is just the means to get a job. And so whatever lands me a job, it's good enough. But in the long haul, right, it is very important to be a generalist, because Nick, you mentioned earlier, right, it's a very integrated field. You cannot do marketing in silos. There are big companies, big corporations we come across where the digital marketing does not know what the traditional folks are doing. And it's unfortunate that, they brought themselves in that kind of position. Because you have to work in a very synchronized way. And so to your point, right, it's very important that they understand some basics of finance, because marketing has to be accountable, right? You can't go crazy with creativity and not be accountable in terms of, what are the hard-earned dollars? Okay, I'm getting Kim Kardashian to be my influencer. I'm spending millions on posts.
What am I getting from it?
Is there an incremental revenue at the end of it?
We talk all the time that the CMO's number one friend should be the CFO in an organization.
See, but we also counter that, because I also think that the chief salesperson is as important.
Well, that's number two.
Because I will say, one of the things that I've come to realize, and I think most people we meet with on the show say similar things. They don't say, I started down this path, and then I was on this, and then I was this. They're like, no, I was, with Joanne, I was Grimace at McDonald's. Like, you learn a lot by being Grimace at McDonald's. And those things, I personally think one of my advantages, I grew up in the sales world. I'm still a sales manager. It is a lot easier to be a salesperson and learn marketing than it is to be a marketing person and learn sales. Sales is innate in you, right? I think marketing is innate, but like, I had no intention of ever being in marketing. I think I have a knack for it, but it was never on my list of things I wanted to do. So I think it's easier to get those back.
We teach marketing a lot more than we teach sales. GSU has added sales
Not
programs.
If you look on LinkedIn, every institution in the world is teaching how to be the best sales guy in the world. I mean, that's where the money is. So there's more
But I think in college we don't teach as much. I mean, it's gotten better, because 10 years ago there really weren't many sales programs.
That's right. That's right.
And I got my degree in marketing management and got thrown into sales for my first job. Greatest thing that ever happened.
Yeah. And sales jobs tend to be the most popular entry-level jobs, especially for undergrad students. So it's an absolute absolutely important skill set.
Yeah.
But when you talk about marketing, right, and going back to your previous question, right, if you see the survey that comes out from Spencer Stewart Consulting Firm, CMOs are the most frequently fired C-level executives, right?
Yeah.
They have the shortest tenure.
18 months or less.
And yes, and the reason is that it's the toughest job in today's world, right? The marketers deal with a lot of fuzzy metrics. Changes are happening every single day. You never know who your competition is. Okay, Amazon never knew that TikTok would one day become one of their competitors with the TikTok shop. They're setting up their own fulfillment centers. So there is a lot of complexity. Marketing as a field is becoming very complex. And so what we need to do, right, is empower our students to become a bit of a finance person, a bit of a psychologist, because you need to understand consumer psychology, a bit of an economist, as well as a bit of an operations person.
Right.
So it's really blending of a lot of skill sets and packing it all together. And that's where we see a challenge as well as an opportunity, as an educational institute.
I think that applies to business owners too, right? If you're marketing, you should learn digital marketing, and so enough to be dangerous, right? Because you don't need this person coming in pretending to be an expert, pulling the wool over your eyes, taking your money. I tell people all the time, look, I don't need you to be an expert on AI or social media. Know enough to be dangerous, so you could see how all these things work together. Because I will tell you, there was a couple weeks ago where the web started making sense to me. I started seeing how these things connect, how SEO plays in with social media, and this is where you YouTube to this, and then Instagram comes in, and the web, it was literally like Rayman on the wall. I was like, oh my God, I freaking get it. And once that happened, you think somebody's going to trick me now? Like, I get it. You can, so I do the tricking. So I just think that it applies to everybody. It has gotten so complex that as a business owner, don't go to marketing 101 and think you understand it. Understand all different aspects of it, fulfillment, economics, as a marketing person.
And continuous learning. I mean, that's what you were talking about.
And I like the unlearning. I mean, I'm going to use that quote from now on, because you have to unlearn a lot of stuff if you're going to really be a continual learner. Like, you can't think you know everything. Unlearn what you thought you knew and move forward. And most people don't do it. They're terrified. That's what the problem with most of these agencies now. I'm thinking about it. And that's the problem with a lot of CMOs. They come in, they fire everybody, and they restart. Is that really the best option? Or is it to work within the parameters you have and optimize? That's the problem.
I think that's a whole nother episode.
Well, we brought it full circle. I want to remind everybody, if you like the show, please listen, subscribe. It's the best way, especially to the podcast, to spread the word. And also want to give a shout out to my wife, Mariella, who did go to Georgia State, and go Panthers. Yeah,
and so Dr. Shaw, we got a little over a minute left. Tell us just a little bit more about GSU, and obviously the great things you're doing, but if people want to know more, how can they get involved?
Oh, yeah. So Georgia State University is on an upward trajectory. People may not realize that, but we are much, much younger than Georgia Tech and UGA. We are one of the younger universities, but now we've become the largest. And I'll always look at Georgia State through the lens of the business school, because that's where I am. So we are one of the largest business school in the country. We offer the widest range of business school programs than practically any business school that's out there. And so if students want to really gain a very deep as well as broad understanding of business, we have a lot of courses and offerings as a university as well as a business school that we offer, ranging from analytics to entrepreneurship to pretty much anything you can think of.
And Atlanta has all of it, which makes it the real world application just unbelievable. You guys certainly have the wind at your backs, and congrats, because the school is absolutely on an upward trajectory. And I know my wife is proud to be there, and I'm proud to do the work that I've done with them and been around them. So congrats.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you. You're right. And I think it's just you're immersed in the community, so much to learn. So Dr. Shaw, thanks for joining us. It's been a pleasure, been a great episode, and you've been listening to the Marketing Madmen on Extra 106.3. We'll be back next week.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah, good. Very good.
Did you like it?
Yep. It was great. It was very conversational, and I think we hit upon quite a few points. So
it's funny, you just look at the content strategy. I'm finding that I know people have a short attention span, but you'd be shocked how important those 60-second clips of the right parts are to it, because just even the unlearning part in a 60-second thing, no one's telling these people that stuff.
Correct.
So, and then what it does is you link those back to now the 20-minute middle segment, and you have to cross-link, and then all of a sudden they watch that.